Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In about 48 hours, Barcelona and PSG will be facing off in the first leg of the UCL quarterfinals at the Parc des Princes in France's capital, Paris. And this game, for both of these teams, it is the biggest game they're going to play in the past 2 to 3 years. Barcelona, it is their first time in the UCL quarterfinal in 3 years, so for sure our biggest game, especially in this competition. And for PSG, they quietly have not made a UCL quarterfinal since the 2020-2021 season, because obviously we know famously the 2 years with Messi, they got knocked out in the round of 16 against Real Madrid and obviously last year against Bayern Munich. So this game is huge, especially it's for sure the biggest game for both of these teams this season. And for both of these teams, this game, or like this tie, will make or break their season. So it's obviously fucking huge. I'm hyped. I hope you guys are as well. And today we're going to do obviously a match preview. I'm going to give you guys my obviously score prediction, my lineup prediction that I want to see for Barca, and also some of my keys to the game. If you guys have anything you agree or disagree with, let me know in the comments section down below. And yeah, man, I'm just super hyped. There's an electric feeling in the air. I feel like this tingling sensation inside my nutsack. It could be something medical, but I'm not sure it is. I think it's just pure hype and passion and vibes. And you guys know, you don't come to this channel for the X's and O's. You come here for the passion and the vibes, and we're gonna deliver that at an all-time high level in this video. So yeah, let's get into it, man. Enough yapping. For both of these teams, they're walking into this game feeling very confident because they're both on their best run of form this season. PSG have not lost a game since December 7th. It has been it's been 4 months now since PSG last lost a game, and that game was in the group stages of the UCL against AC Milan in the San Siro, obviously the away leg of that UCL tie. And, you know, look, man, Ligue 1, going unbeaten in that league, is that impressive? No. But unbeaten in 4 months is unbeaten in 4 months, no matter what league you play in. Those are still pros you're playing against, so that's obviously amazing for PSG. And like I said, they're coming into this game with a lot of confidence. And Barca, we're on our best run of form of the whole season. Sorry, I had to burp. We're our best run. Oh, you guys also come here for the burps. I forgot about that. Passion, vibes, and also burps, because we can never forget a burp in these videos. But anyway, Barcelona have been playing great basically since Xavi announced he was resigning, stepping down at the end of the year. Ever since that point, Barca have honestly been almost unbeatable. And actually, they have been unbeatable. And especially post the first leg of the Napoli match, it has been our best run of form, definitely since the turn of the calendar, but honestly this whole season. We had that stretch in the middle with Antwerp and Betis and Celta Vigo. I think the stretch has been more dominant and also more sustainable because it's lasted longer. And obviously the key to that is our defense, and also the fact that Xavi made some changes and the attack is playing a lot better. There's a lot more fluidity, and also the emergence of Lamine Yamal, the emergence of Pau Cubarsí, two young kids who are playing amazing obviously, and also Robert Lewandowski started playing better. So Lewandowski stepping up, and those two guys and also the whole team just playing better. This is what we get with Barca, obviously a team that looks really, really good, and in my opinion, should be the favorites on this side of the bracket to make the final. But here's what I'll say about PSG. Let's talk about PSG first, because obviously I talked about the stakes for both of these teams and the way they're coming into this game. But now let's focus on PSG. Because PSG, I'll be honest with you guys, maybe this damages my credibility, but I'm going to be upfront, and because I'm not going to lie to you guys, just sit here and lie. I have not watched much of PSG in Ligue 1 this season, if any, honestly. Ever since Messi left Ligue 1, I'm not interested in that league. I don't find it entertaining whatsoever. So, you know, I tune in every now and then, like for a first half to watch Mbappe play because he's so good. But I'm not sitting down watching every game PSG have played this season. I really, like I said, it's not my thing, honestly. But in the UCL, I watched every game they played, obviously in the group of death. And I think they looked good, but obviously not great because they finished second in that group behind Dortmund. And in that group stage, they scored 9 goals and conceded 8. They had a goal difference of 1. They were good in the UCL, but not great. And I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. This is the same PSG team that lost to Newcastle 4-0 at St. James's Park. Obviously, I think in October of this year in the UCL. A Newcastle team that's nowhere near as good as they were last season, because this season they've been actually kind of shit. Now, granted, they've had a record number of injuries, but still, I mean, this Newcastle team is not what it was last year, and they lost to that team 4-0 or 4-1 again at St. James's Park. And I guess St. James's Park is a tough place to play, but still, man, conceding forward to that team, and PSG did not look good whatsoever going forward. So again, I'm not that well-versed, or I'm not that educated on PSG this year apart from what I've seen in the UCL. But here's the thing, PSG, because obviously I watched them with Messi, like I said, in this season, they have some game breakers, bro. Ousmane Dembélé, on his day, can be a game breaker. Zaire Emery is one of the most promising young midfielders in all of Europe. Obviously, Vitinha has been better this season. He still has that potential, that X factor, because he is a very promising player. And again, last year he wasn't great, but this year he's been a lot better. And in defense, obviously you have guys like Hakimi, like Nuno Mendes. You still have the goalkeeper in Donnarumma. You have good players, obviously. But with all that being said, that team to me is carried by one generational game breaker, and that guy's obviously Kylian Mbappe, who I've said multiple times, I'm going to say it one more time, he's the best player in the world by far. So you have that guy, obviously. And I don't fear PSG. I fear Kylian Mbappe and what he could do. Because we Barca fans, we have PTSD of Kylian Mbappe 3 years back at the Camp Nou scoring a hat-trick, obviously Messi's last season there, that year under Koeman. We saw that. That happened. We experienced it firsthand. And if you're like me, and you're not just a Barca fan, but you're also a Messi fan, you saw it in the World Cup final famously against Argentina in Qatar, where Kylian Mbappe almost single-handedly delivered France their third World Cup in their history. Dude scored a hat-trick in that game and was unplayable from the 80th minute onward. I mean, he was just, every time he had the ball, he looked so dangerous. And Kylian Mbappe this year has been fantastic, bro. Obviously, one of the best player in the world, in my opinion. If you want to throw Bellingham in there as well, because he does it in a tougher league. Bellingham, Mbappe, Foden, all those guys are in that conversation this year. Harry Kane as well for best in the world. But Mbappe's obviously in that short list, and we'll see what he does at the Euros. But this season, bro, he's been amazing. He just keeps scoring goals for fun in both the UCL and in Ligue 1. And if PSG win the UCL, he could very well win the Ballon d'Or. But I think to me, if you can neutralize Kylian Mbappe, which is obviously, like obviously I just wax poetic about Mbappe, so we know the threat he possesses, okay? But if you can kind of neutralize him, which again is harder said than done, because it's like saying neutralize Messi in his prime or Ronaldo in their prime, especially in a big game like this. The big boys and like in the history of football show up for games like this. So I expect Kylian Mbappe, who I believe will go down as a top 10 player in the history of this game when it's all said and done, when his career is finished. I believe he will come through, he will do something. He will make something happen, because you got to account for Kylian Mbappe on every single time PSG have the ball, because he's insane. So if you can kind of neutralize him, and I think Barca have the personnel somewhat to neutralize Mbappe, then you're basically looking good. Because I said Ousmane Dembélé can wreck a game on his day. Yes, but Ousmane Dembélé, he's been good this season, but not great. The stats have not been great, especially his goal scoring. I think he scored 1 goal in every game he's played this year. He has like 12 assists or something crazy like that. So he's still one of the best playmaking wingers in football. But we know that with Dembélé. This guy, I've seen it too many times. He folds under pressure. This is the same guy who got subbed out of a World Cup final game before halftime. That is the same Dembélé. And he can come good, but also more times than not, and trust me, we Barca fans, we know this, he's not going to come good. So I don't think Dembélé is going to perform in this game, because I think the pressure will be too much. And then at striker, you're going to play Kolo Muani, probably, right? Or Gonzalo Ramos. I don't know which one, but I think you're going to play Kolo Muani. He's good, but do I fear Kolo Muani the same way I feared Victor Osimhen? No, and Barca held Victor Osimhen in check. And also Kvaratskhelia, for that matter. Obviously, neither of them scored. Actually, no, Victor Osimhen scored in the first leg, my bad. He scored in the first, but that was just a mistake that was just a fluke play, kind of. They didn't really do much through 2 legs, especially not Kawara. He was basically kept in check. So again, obviously, Kylian Mbappe is better than Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen combined even. But I think Koundé can do a decent job on Mbappe. Now, is he going to stop him? Obviously not, because you can't stop Mbappe, but he can bother him. And also with the threat of Araujo, who we've seen Araujo plays well against these kinds of players. Vini is not really the same, he's not the same when it comes to Mbappe. Obviously, they're very different players when it comes to their skill set and everything. But Vini's also the type of guy who likes to threaten out on that wing and get him, and obviously get him behind with pace and just kind of run past you. And Mbappe, obviously, we know he has blistering speed, but I think Araujo can deal well with that. And if you have both of those guys kind of bothering him every time Mbappe is on the ball, I think you're pretty good on that side. And then obviously we have Cubarsí and Cancelo guarding against Gonzalo Ramos or Kolo Muani, obviously, and obviously Dembélé. The Cancelo-Dembélé matchup scares me, because Cancelo is not great defensively, but again, I do not think Dembélé will come through. And then you're left with Cubarsí against Kolo Muani or Gonzalo Ramos. Pick your striker, pick your PSG striker. And I'm going to trust a 17-year-old, bro. I am. I've seen it this season. I think he's amazing. He held Victor Osimhen, like I said, one of the best strikers, one of the most promising strikers in football, in check, and won man of the match in that second leg. And I think he could do it with any striker that PSG puts out there, because again, neither of those guys are better than obviously Victor Osimhen. Again, Napoli Victor Osimhen doesn't have the threat of having Mbappe on the other side, obviously to the left of him. But still, I think that Barca, they can kind of bother Mbappe a little bit in this first leg at home, obviously, and their home stadium. And by the way, it's another huge factor. The fact that this is the first leg is in the Parc des Princes is massive for Barca. And I think it will be good to go. In the midfield, obviously, they have Vitinha, like I said. They have Zaire. They have some good players there. But I think Barca's midfield is a little bit better. And then, obviously, when it comes to the Barca's attack against their defense, Hakimi's not going to play this game, because he's suspended. Nuno Mendes, I think, is questionable for the game, because I think he has an injury. And also Zaire Emery, I didn't mention the midfielders, but he also plays a big part in their defense, obviously winning the ball back and all that stuff. He's questionable for this game as well. So we don't know how many players PSG is going to miss. And again, I don't wish injury to anybody. I hope they recover soon. But that's huge for Barca. If those players miss and Hakimi obviously is out suspended, that is massive for Barca for that first, especially because it's away from home. So that's my thoughts on that. I think Barca, I think PSG, they have a good team, But I think, again, if you can kind of neutralize Mbappe a little bit, you're good to go in that sense. Not really good to go, but again, you guys get what I mean. And then when it comes to Barca, let me give you guys my predicted lineup. What I want to see Barca go with, actually, I should say, not what I'm predicting, but if I was a manager, what I would put out there, I would have Ter Stegen in goal. I would have, obviously, Koundé, Araujo, Cubarsí, and Cancelo as the back four. That back four has carried us for the past month and a half. They've conceded 1 goal since the Napoli game, and that goal was also to Napoli. So I believe that back line is going to do what's going to, like I mentioned, I think they have the personnel to kind of neutralize PSG's front line, and most notably number 7, because he's the most dangerous one. The midfield, Christensen, I don't know if he's injured, if he's going to be good for this game, but if he can play, which I think he will play, obviously you put Christensen as a DM, because that's been working, especially out of possession in these games, because it provides way more cover in that midfield, which you need against a team that's so dangerous in transition like PSG. So you got to have Christensen there. Then midfield, you obviously have Pedri and Frenkie de Jong possibly coming back for this game. I wouldn't start Pedri. I think that's too risky, because we know Pedri's injury history, and we don't want him to keep going through that. So I would maybe bring him on in the second half for limited minutes, but definitely not start him, and then we'll see how he feels for the second leg. But then if Frenkie de Jong can play, you're playing Frenkie de Jong. You put your best player out there. In my opinion, Barca, Frenkie de Jong, when he's healthy, is arguably Barca's best player. So you put him out there. I think he can do well in a game like this. And then the other midfield spot, we know it goes to İlkay Gundogan, who's been our best player this year and one of the best signings of the season. And then the front three, you're gonna have Rafinha on the left. He's been playing better there as of late. You're gonna have Lewandowski up top, and of course you're gonna have the 16-year-old Lamine Yamal on the right-hand side, who was giving an interview recently, and he was talking about how excited he is for this matchup. You give the kid the opportunity, because the kid has proved you right every step of the way. And then you still have Fermin Lopez you can bring off the bench. You still have obviously Marc Guiu. You still have Roque available to you. You have those guys you can bring in after, obviously, and Joao Felix as well. I forgot to mention him. But I'll tell you guys this. Let's just say Frenkie de Jong doesn't play, right? And then Barca is still missing one midfield spot. So obviously Frenkie de Jong can't play, and I said Pedri won't start. It's between Fermin and Sergio Roberto. I would personally start Sergio Roberto, because he possesses something that Fermin doesn't. I think Fermin is more talented, obviously different roles, but I think Fermin is more talented. Of course, it's not debatable. But I think Sergio Roberto provides that experience. And that's something you can't buy, you can't teach that. So he has that experience in big UCL games, especially against this team, obviously in La Remontada a couple years back. So I would start Sergio, because I do think that when Sergio's played this year, he's kind of looked decent at times, and other times he's looked terrible, but a lot of times he's looked good, obviously, when he came off the bench against Napoli in the last game, in the UCL, obviously. He looked really, really good in my opinion. He kind of changed that game. So you obviously play Sergi. Look, I don't like the talks about renewing Sergi, because, you know, I don't want to talk, like, I don't want that to happen, because I think Barca needs to let him go. But for this game, you play him for the experience. So that's my take, bro. I give you guys kind of my opinion, my prediction for this game. Obviously, I almost forgot to mention that's the whole point of this video. My prediction for this game, I think Barca will win 1-0, and I think Barca have to make sure they get a win, and at worst, a tie at home. I know I'm stating the obvious here, but they have to make sure that happens. They have to make sure that happens. I think if this game even ends 1-0 at the Parc des Princes, I don't have that much faith in Barca to come back in the second leg, even if it's at Montjuic. I think these players need to go out on the front foot and get a goal early, and not let PSG pile on the pressure, and also defend transition. We know Barca's weakness this year has been transition. You gotta defend transition, but you cannot leave yourself. You cannot be losing the ball in vulnerable situations, because if that happens, they will obliterate you. PSG, Kylian Mbappe, and Ousmane Dembélé with that pace and behind. We saw with Vini and Rodrigo, obviously in the Super Cup game. We know that Barca struggles against that. And again, I hope Xavi does not play a high line against this team, because if you do, they will kill you. So you cannot do that. And like I said, you got to get on the front foot and put that pressure on PSG, because they're gonna need to get a result. And if you can get a goal early, or if you can score first, that's gonna put the pressure on them. And that team does not deal well under pressure, because they have no pedigree in this competition. Believe it or not, that does matter. It does matter whether you have pedigree in this competition or not. So I believe that that's what's going to happen. Again, you guys can tell me I'm wrong. A lot of people think in the PSG community I don't pay them enough respect, and I'm mean to them, and I just kind of brush them off as an opponent. And I maybe did. And again, I'm happy to eat my words and be proven to look a fool if I'm wrong. Again, I don't fear PSG, I fear Kylian Mbappe. But we'll see what happens. That's what the game is for. I will be live streaming the game, by the way. I'll be streaming the game here on my YouTube channel when it happens, obviously on Wednesday at 3 o'clock. And also, the reason why I'm posting this video on Monday and not on Tuesday, the day before the game, is because tomorrow, obviously, Bayern Munich and Arsenal play, and also Real Madrid and Man City. And you best believe I'm making a Yap session after those games. So that's why this video, I kind of have to improvise and put it on Monday instead of Tuesday, because again, like I mentioned. But yeah, man, you guys let me know. Let me know your predictions down below. Let me know your keys to the game down below. Let me know who you're most afraid of in that PSG side. Let me know everything you're thinking, all your thoughts before the game. And yeah, man, I love every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.